What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. My name is Zach, and we're back again with Rick's F1 Addiction, where we're going to check out a video called Everything Wrong with Red Bull. Red Bull's been struggling a little bit. It's been all McLaren, really, so far through this F1 season. So let's get down to it. I think this video was posted about a month ago. Yeah, for sure. And let's see what's going on with Red Bull and what they need to do to fix it. Let's go, baby.
Driver that's won in Red Bull has double letters
Red
in their
Bull,
surname.
Weber, Ricciardo, Verstappen.
Yeah, so whoever ends up taking over a Red Bull seat one day, if you don't have double letters in your name, you are gone.
Very, very sorry, guys. I drove like an idiot today.
Round on Perez, and again, no!
This is not what I'm used to with Rick's F1 addiction. It's just so depressing to start things off, but I understand. This is cinema.
Yeah, I'm on the wall, mate. It's just no grip, sorry.
Red Bull have announced that Sergio Perez will be leaving the team.
Pierre Gasly will be replaced by Alex Albon for the rest of the season.
Can Alex Albon save his F1 career?
Daniel Ricciardo has been replaced by Max Verstappen in Red Bull.
Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda will swap seats from next weekend.
Daniel Ricciardo has been dropped by the RB team.
I say it every video we do of Rick's channel. Go subscribe to him. I mean, my guy, you know, you think he's a one-trick pony. He's not. He can create a masterpiece in different ways.
Daniel Ricciardo out.
Come on.
Certainly that
This is
the end
great.
of his Formula One career.
Daniel Ricciardo once said that Red Bull drivers without double letters in their names will be gone. Now, as real as that sounds, it's unfortunately false since Daniel himself is also gone. And Danny Kvyat, who also has 2 consecutive letters in his name, was fired. And his 28-year-old girlfriend got attracted to a 19-year-old. And this is because Red Bull can be the most unhealthy team in Formula One. Ferrari is known for traumatizing their drivers. Williams swap their drivers like they're flipping couches on Facebook Marketplace. Mercedes prioritized one of their racers for more than 5 years, while McLaren is known for being extremely fast but slow at certain times. And Red Bull are all of those traits combined. A team that has traumatized their drivers, then fired them when their mental state is at an all-time low because they can't keep up with the guy that they've prioritized for more than 5 years, which makes...
Before we even get into it, let's talk about that for a second, because I got a lot of different feedback from the Max Verstappen most badass driver of all time video that we did. And we had some people that said that, yes, in fact, the Red Bull car is a tractor. It's slow. It don't move like that. Verstappen just is able to get the best out of it because he's just such a good driver. And now we've had some other people that have came in and commented and said that, well, the car is quick, but it's designed for the reckless driving that only a guy like Max Verstappen can handle. So that makes these other guys tend to struggle and fall down on the ladder in the pole positions. What is y'all's thoughts? So, like, is it a combo of the both? Are these drivers that they're signing up to partner up with Max, you know, really just struggling and aren't as talented? Or is the car not a well-balanced vehicle? Or is the vehicle just full-blown built for Max, his strengths, and then they're just like, the other guy, good luck? Y'all tell me.
Makes them both fast and slow at the same time. Red Bull can be so shit that going from their junior team to the main one actually feels like a demotion. And what makes Red Bull the toxic team we all love and absolutely fucking despise is because of
Was that the dude that dunks his head in water?
Controversies, despise, and what makes Red Bull the toxic team we all love and absolutely fucking despise is because of controversies. This is a team that's had drama since day one. That Drive to Survive could just be about Red Bull, and it would still be 7 seasons long. Like in the...
All right, again, way too many pauses early. I'll let it play after this. Should I watch Drive to Survive? Some people tell me yes, some people tell me no.
2013 Malaysian Grand Prix. In the race, Red Bull told Sebastian Vettel to stay behind Mark Webber and told both of them to turn on multi-map 2-1, an engine setting to hold position. But Vettel refused and overtook Mark, giving us the controversial multi-21.
Multi-21, sir. Yeah, multi-21.
So then Webber almost decides to ram into Vettel after the checkered flag. Valid crash out. In 2016, Danny Kvyat nearly kills 2 Ferrari drivers by role-playing as a torpedo and then gets replaced by Max Verstappen mid-season. In 2018, after having tension throughout the entire year on who should be the #1 driver, Max and Daniel crash into each other in Azerbaijan.
Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
And then 2021 happened. No, I am not going to discuss this again. But then in 2022, Red Bull was found guilty by the FIA of an overspend of the 2021 cost cap, leading to claims that Max's title was not legitimate. Since this also has to do with 2021, that is all that I'm gonna say, in the hopes of—
Can someone break that down a little bit more? Because I actually just watched a video. It was based around Lewis Hamilton, and they talked about that year at the very end of it, but they didn't go into any depth about it. Can someone break that down for me? Appreciate.
Of not starting a war in the comment section. I know it's already too late. But then we had Brazil 2022, where Max Verstappen did not want to let Checo pass him during the race.
Don't worry about the DRS, Max. Let Checo through. Let Checo through. Max, what happened?
I told you already last time. You guys don't ask that again to me.
Sorry about that, Checo.
Yeah, it shows who he really is.
Now this caused huge drama, generating a lot of hate towards Max, but little do people know that this gesture by Max was possibly motivated because of something Checo did. Now obviously it's just been speculated so far, but people believe that it was because of Checo crashing earlier in 2022's Monaco qualifying.
I'm out, man. Sorry.
Now this might seem like a usual crash, but if you look at Checo's steering wheel, he did not counter steer to try and save it. You see, what F1 drivers usually do when they're about to lose their car's ass is to try and whip the car back in place. Sometimes it looks like this, and sometimes it can also look like this. And Checo did none of that, therefore producing rumors that his crash was intentional. So what Max did in Brazil was a controversial decision that people still speculate about. And of course, in 2023, Helmut Marko makes racist comments towards Sergio Perez, saying that his performance is affected by him being part of a mariachi band. And in 2024, Christian Horner cheats on his wife on WhatsApp. And this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what's wrong with Red Bull. There is so much more to it, and the biggest thing that's given Red Bull its shitty reputation is how harsh they are on their own drivers. Imagine having a 9-to-5 job where you have to meet a performance quota every single day, and if you don't, you get killed and your boss pisses on your grave. That is what it's like to drive for Red Bull.
Yeah, low-key, didn't the guy that started off with Red Bull this season already got dropped? So yeah, it's 100% one of those situations. It's like, okay, let's get you in here. If you aren't excellent, you're gone. We're just going to bring in up the next blue. Regardless if you met all the criteria to get you to this point, cut the knife, you're gone. Get the F back to the B team, bull racing, whatever the hell they're called. It's kind of an interesting way that they like to work over there at Red Bull.
2016, Danny Kvyat got replaced by Max Verstappen after he rammed into Sebastian Vettel in Russia. Look, I know this move makes a lot of sense now, but at the time, boy was it harsh to get replaced by a 17-year-old who crashes as hard as you do. But then after a while, Pierre Gasly joins Red Bull in 2019, but then got replaced after just 12 races by Alex Albon, who performed better with near podium finishes, but got screwed over by Lewis Hamilton. Then he emptied Red Bull's entire stock of front wings trying to keep up with Max, so he also got replaced a year later by Sergio Perez, who performed far from Max, but he didn't crash as much, became the Mexican Minister of Defense, and did God knows how many comeback drives. At least until 2023, where Checo started fading in performance, crashed the car way too much, qualified behind Logan Sargent, and then got fired a year later. And of course, the one that pissed me off the most was Red Bull's treatment of Daniel Ricciardo, both the first and second time he left the team. The first time, Daniel left Red Bull in 2019 for Renault, since he felt that Red Bull was ignoring him in favor of Max, and did not like the toxic environment that he was surrounded in. But since things didn't go his way, he returned to Red Bull in 2023.
And welcome back, 8-time Grand Prix winner and one of the friendliest drivers in the F1 grid, Daniel Ricciardo, to Oracle Red Bull Racing.
Now there's...
Excuse me?
What did he say? Usually a reason why most people don't go back to their exes, and safe to say, Daniel learned a valuable lesson. Because after he secured a seat at Red Bull's junior team, replacing Nick DeBris, who also got replaced after 10 races, Daniel did kinda mid. So then he got fired near the end of the 2024 season, was only informed of it on the day of his final race, and Red Bull responded to Daniel's unemployment post with 2
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't working for a company that does that. I'm outie.
Emojis while everybody else poured their hearts out. And his departure was only confirmed 4 days after he cried on camera. See, I think the reason why Red Bull takes so long to confirm things is that they might still be using mailmen to get their information across the team, which is also why Liam Lawson figured out he was fired after just 2 races with Red Bull through social media. He was fired.
Okay, so that's what happened? That he got notified through social media? I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I said in one of the other F1 videos, I think it's came out already. I need a list, someone in the comments to give me a list of YouTubers to follow with news, but like more importantly, like Instagram and Twitter people to follow on like news when it comes to F1 and stuff like that, so I can stay in the loop. All right, I need that.
After just 2 races with Red Bull through social media, this man found out that he was dropped through overly saturated YouTube thumbnails before hearing it from his boss. But apart from the harsh driver swaps and lack of communication in the team, what makes Red Bull so unhealthy is their power struggles.
There shall be no knifing one another. Everybody knows who's in charge. Me. Yes, you.
Horrible movie, but they're both great.
Red Bull is an actual broken home where your divorced gay parents are fighting at every breathing moment. That a Dutch news site published an overview of the Red Bull power struggle in 2024. Now, as much as this is a great graph, it is quite outdated, which is why I'm now going to make my own updated version of the Red Bull power struggle. First off, I remove Adrian Newey since he's now working for the Wingstop team. Second, this father and son relationship should be red, because I believe if you would leave your son on a go-kart track in the freezing winter, grudges are bound to be held. Third, a red line between Horner and any female personnel should be made. And fourth, Helmut Marko should be replaced by Kanye West. Don't worry, guys.
I don't know where he's going with this one. We'll wait and see.
I don't think that even makes a difference. And matter of fact, I think every single line here should be fucking red, because this team is a shithole. And this power struggle is what makes...
You don't really feel like it's that bad?
Both Red Bull teams' unhealthy work environments, and most of it thanks to Helmut Marko. Look, I know this guy was the one who put Max Verstappen in Red Bull, but he's also the reason behind all the layoffs. Some of them because they were just really shitty choices, but sometimes it's because Grandpa here is ready to execute his own drivers if they don't perform as well as Max in their first race.
Into the wall goes Liam Lawson.
The high criteria.
He's done the same thing at the first couple of turns on the racetrack.
You are done. Fired. Do not show your face at the laundry again.
And to make matters worse, so many of Red Bull's personnel have been stolen by other teams. Will Courtenay, Rob Marshall, Dan Fallows, Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley. Integral people to Red Bull left in just a span of 2 years. And
take a look at where 2 of them are at right now.
People to Red Bull left in just
where 2 of them at right now. That's interesting. I feel like I'm getting more indulged into the soap opera, which is F1 and what happens. This story that's being untold or that isn't publicized outside of like guys like Rick and other people over on YouTube. Kind of crazy.
Of 2 years, and we've already seen the effects of these departures. Pit stop fumbles, questionable strategy, a big blue tractor. And yes, I do know that some of these people left because money talks, but Adrian Newey leaving to a team with only one driver, and Jonathan Wheatley leaving to a team that couldn't do pit stops to save their lives instead of staying at Red Bull says a lot. You know, maybe the reason why Max is so composed in Red Bull is because he's so used to living in a broken home. But obviously, that's just the work environment. It won't directly affect drivers.
That is absurd. Who says stuff like that?
As long as they have the mentality to perform. So why can't any of them do that? And well, it's because Red Bull is jack shit without Max Verstappen. To put it in simpler words, Red Bull is in a master-slave relationship with Max. And they're also the bottom in the relationship.
No kink shaming. No kink shaming.
Not because they really love Max's
What the hell is going on, man?
But because Max Verstappen can produce insane results if Red Bull builds their car in his direction. I've said this before in the past, Max can be so quick that he actually blinds Red Bull from their car's problems. So Red Bull, in the master-slave relationship, builds their car around Max's input and feedback. And as long as he's quick, there's no questions asked. Which brings me back to Checo, who said the car was fucked in 2023, but Red Bull didn't listen to him because Max was busy winning. And those were the words from Christian Horner's own dirty little mouth. And every driver before Perez pretty much said the same thing. But it's too late. Red Bull has made a car that only drivers who can handle a pointy front end can extract its full potential. For example, in Japan 2025, Max stole pole position from Lando Norris in just one corner by braking later, turning sharper, and going fuck it, it's either first place or I die. And in Bahrain 2025, Yuki did far better than Liam since he prefers an oversteery car, though even he can struggle all race weekend. While Sid the Sloth in the same car was able to drag the Red Bull into pole position again in Saudi Arabia 2025, and also got pole position by gaining so much time on the final corner. How in the fuck did that man drag that lunk of turd into P1? Wait, actually, I think I do know the answer. Max Verstappen just has such a fast and unique driving style paired with a...
Okay, so he's answering what I was asking earlier, basically, because that's how I felt. Like, as he was explaining that, I was like, well, no, like, you just explained the thing why the car is so good for him, but not for the whole. So that leads to a whole nother question where, if y'all are still here on this one, I know this is a longer video, longer reaction here to Rick's F1. For Red Bull's cars, so they design one vehicle and they can't, is it that they don't have time to, or they're not allowed to design a separate car for each driver? Or is it just a one car or one design car for each race? How does that work? I feel like we've watched that before, but let me know.
The car that's suited best for him. So if you're gonna ask, is it Max that's fast or the car? Well, it's more Max, but kind of both. He's a very fast-looking sloth, but at the same time, the Red Bull is so tuned for him that anyone else driving the car feels like they're playing a video game with someone else's settings.
Oh, that is... Oh, Jesus! That's a good analogy right there, because I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's different.
Fucking Christ! But
I can relate to that
what
one.
if the car is shit? Well, we've seen that a couple times before, and it makes things even worse for Red Bull, because when even Max can't drive it, imagine someone else who can barely handle the car. Also, I find it so funny when Max gets mad at the RB when it becomes a shit box. There was one moment in a free practice session in 2025 where the RB21 was sliding and was so unresponsive going into corners. And Max pretty much went, "Oh, you're sliding? Damn, bitch. I'll show you what real sliding looks like." And then proceeded to slam the fucking throttle.
Oh, he's like, you gonna slide? Well, then all right, mother, we're gonna slide.
If any other driver did that, they would be crucified. But not Max Verstappen, because once again, he's in the master-slave relationship. And if that wasn't a show of domination, I don't know what is. At this point, the best analogy I can come up with for Red Bull is that racing for them is the equivalent of going cave diving. And there are 2 rules to going cave diving. 1, you don't go cave diving, and 2,
why not?
You follow rule number 1, because an
go cave diving. Dude, cave diving's lit. I'm sure. I've never done it, but I'm sure it sounds like fun. Unless you end up like that meme, bro, where it's like you slid down this thing that went down that way, then went down that way, and then you went here, and then they give you the question, what would you do in this situation? And the answer is DIE.
An F1 driver going, yeah, I want to drive there, is the exact same thing as a cave diver going, yeah, I'm gonna go into that cave. And it's literally been given the name the Devil's Anus.
Again, attention to detail. I already know Rick because of all the great memes that he's grabbed. He's definitely did this one crappy on purpose, and it makes it funnier.
Of death. But aside from my cave diving rant, since Red Bull's second seat is the equivalent of being the devil's anus of despair and doom, it's had a ruthless effect on drivers. Pierre Gasly had his confidence shattered, but he thankfully recovered. Alex Albon, confidence also shattered and got sent to Devil's Anus of Death Jr. Then Sergio Perez had the same thing happen to him, but also got clowned online.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Next, Liam Perez. I mean,
no, he didn't get.
Pretty much the same thing. Then Danny Kvyat, same thing again, but he also lost his family. Every day I strive to never end up like this man. But finally, Daniel Ricciardo, who lost his spark, soul, and joy. And most importantly, the biggest effect Red Bull has had on Daniel is that I can no longer call him my favorite nickname, which is something that's pissed me off the most. But anyways, the Red Bull experience can also be so bad that it can even affect Max Verstappen. Because if the team doesn't shatter your soul, it makes you addicted to gaming. Max Verstappen has been severely hooked to Among Us,
I still need to find these
and
Among Us things, by the way.
Probably to forget about how he's the only thing keeping Red Bull afloat. And did you guys know that Max actually played a part in the Minecraft movie? Yes, guys, you heard it here first, and it was absolute cinema. My favorite part was when Max Verstappen went chicken jockey and everybody lost their shit.
I'm not gonna lie. Rick did not want to add any part of this into this thing, but just his meme self alone had to force some early chicken jockey Minecraft memes into his videos because it would be uncharacteristic. It did make no sense. This one was the furthest out of left field, but he had to do it because he's Rick.
Movie should have featured former Red Bull driver David Coulthard as Steve, because not only does he look the part, but no CGI would be needed. I mean, I can barely tell these two apart. So if drivers aren't getting heartbroken in Red Bull, they turn to video games. Like even Christian Horner is affected. I think I saw him gaming a while back playing CSGO.
He knows he's there!
CSGO's lit.
And he does again, strip me naked, oil me up and slap my ass. What just happened?
But in conclusion,
what did he say?
Red Bull is a fucked up mess, and their solution is obviously to take feedback from both drivers equal. That is what they should have done, especially for Sergio Perez, who they owe an apology to, except for the part where he totaled the car every race weekend. But balanced feedback and improving the team's work environment is Red Bull's long-term solution. That we all know they're not gonna do. Because what Red Bull's actually gonna do is to try to keep Max in the team until he's 85, which is not fucking happening, but then pray the car fixes itself. Or try to clone Max. And if that doesn't fucking work, they would just wait for mini Verstappen to grow up, then give the child the Jos Verstappen experience, and there you go, another trauma-filled racing machine.
All right. You don't know the drill. Link in the description. Rick's F1 Addiction. Go subscribe. Comment. like genuinely let me know what y'all's thoughts are with this whole like everything's wrong with Red Bull. What do y'all think it is? Do you think it is a mixture of the two? Do you want to play devil's advocate and or do you want to be that tweener where you're like, oh well, the car is built for Max, so like these other guys just aren't as good as Max, so if they struggle to go ahead and deal, or is the car just bad, or like what is it? What is it? So someone tell me what y'all think. But regardless, man, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'm hoping to do a whole lot more F1 content. I also want to do some more F1 races. I know it's been a little bit tougher. I need to stop being lazy and just get up in the mornings and go ahead and do some live streams for them. But I hope to see y'all there whenever I do. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.